What will we do with this moment? How will we be remembered? Look at the opportunities before us.
This election really isn't about the left versus the right. It's about we the people choosing our government and the choice between freedom versus tyranny.
Nobody has a chronic disease burden like we have. Why are we allowing this to happen to our children? Ultimately, the only thing that will save our country is if we choose to love our kids more than we hate each other.
What is going on here is deeper than politics. It is deeply spiritual. We are being called to rise above the hatred and the fear and the evil.
We need to remember above and beyond that we must love our neighbors, that we must treat other people as we hope to be treated.
You want to be a rebel? You want to be a hippie? You want to stick it to the man? Show up on your college campus and try calling yourself a conservative.
America is going to reach heights that it has never seen before. The future is going to be amazing!
You want healthy children. Don't you want a president that's going to make America healthy again?
Come to you today as a former Democrat. I will be a first-time Trump voter tonight.
The people dreamed this country, and it's the people who are making America great again.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
President-elect Trump with a blunt warning for Hamas. Matt Gutman with that from Israel.
Tonight, President-elect Trump with a blunt new warning to Hamas, demanding they free the hostages before he takes office in January, or there will be, quote, all hell to pay in the Middle East.
This deal will hold.
I'm confident. Thank you.
Folks, credit for this, Mr. President, you or Trump?
Is that a joke? Oh, thank you.
Why is it that you seem unwilling to extend any credit to Trump for this deal? Couldn't he just have said, hold off until I'm in office?
What I will say is that what we know to be true, what we know this process, how it has moved over the past 8 months, this is a deal that happened under the framework that this president put forward and was endorsed by the world. And this is also an administration that has had certainly the support, the back of Israel that helped denigrate Hamas, their military severely, weaken them. And we created, because of also doing that, we created the conditions for this deal. That is what has happened over the last 8 months. And we have talked closely, worked closely, coordinated closely with the incoming administration, and that is how we've been able to get to this point. And the reason we were able to do that, having that conversation with the transition team, is because this president believed in the importance of having a peaceful transfer of power, right? Of having a transition that worked for the American people and had the American people at the forefront in trying to make sure that we got this done.
I guess we've heard variations of that answer through the briefing, but I guess more plainly, I'm wondering, if you'll just say your view, which seems to be that Trump gets no credit.
I've shared my view. I don't have anything else to share.
A few moments later.
When it comes to the involvement of President-elect Trump's team, it has been absolutely critical in getting this deal over the line.
And it's been critical because, obviously, as I stand here today, this administration's term in office will expire in 5 days. And one of the things that we have always said about this deal is that when you get from stage 1 to stage 2, that the United States, Egypt, and Qatar are the guarantors of this deal. And Egypt and Qatar will push Hamas to stay at the bargaining table and to get from stage 1 to stage 2, and the United States will push Israel to stay at the bargaining table to get from phase 1 and phase 2. So obviously those are promises we cannot make on behalf of the United States for any longer than the next 5 days. And so it's critical that all of the parties to the agreement and the other mediators see that when the United States is in the room making commitments, those are lasting commitments that extend beyond this administration into the next one. I would just say, lastly, I don't know if it's unprecedented to have envoys from an outgoing and an incoming administration sitting at the same table negotiating a ceasefire agreement of this kind. But if it's not unprecedented, it's certainly unusual. And we, of course, thank the Trump team for working with this on this ceasefire agreement. We think it's important that they were at the table.
Biden presented.
Yeah, okay. So, in any event, the deal got done. Whatever this deal is going to be, we're still waiting to see it flush out. And, of course, as you saw, Biden with his sneer, yeah, it's a joke. Yeah, it's a joke. I did all this. Sure you did. Sure, we believe that. At 8 o'clock, he comes out with his farewell speech, and he's probably going to do into a glowing thing on how he saved the world. But everybody knows it's a lie. In fact, I got a video here on CNN where one of the Israeli envoys, a diplomat for Israel, comes out and says, nope, it was Trump. His own State Department said, nope, it was Trump. Listen to this.
A deal like this in May. So what's your take on what got us to this moment?
Well, tragically, the deal could have been made or struck in March, again in May, and it was rehashed or rekindled in July and in August, and Mr. Netanyahu refused. I mean, Hamas wasn't very helpful, let's be honest, but it was Mr. Netanyahu ultimately that rejected the deal. At the time, he wanted to prolong the war for political reasons. Going into the summer, he said, I should wait for the American election, see what transpires. Once President Trump was elected and became president-elect, Netanyahu set a date, the 20th of January, inauguration day. And he extended the war for no apparent reason, for no utility, for no tangible or attainable goals for months. And so if you're asking what the game changer was, what the reason that brought him to say yes now, as opposed to the many resisting no's in previous months, it was the Donald Trump factor. It's not that Trump pressured him, it's that he's afraid of the unpredictability and transactionality of Trump that Trump is known for, that caused him to say, I better get on his good side and I should do this now.
I better get on his good side and I better do it now. They weren't saying that for 4 years with Biden. This thing happened, October 7th, 15 or 16 months ago. Yeah, 15 months ago. And nothing happened. All the threats, all the communications, whatever Biden was doing, nothing happened. Now all of a sudden Trump comes and he tells these guys, you better have this done before January 20th. No ifs, ands, or buts. You better have it done. Well, this reminds me of Biden's video. Well, son of a gun. They got it done. Right on the 15th of January, 5 days away. And it wasn't Biden. Breaking. Hostage and ceasefire deal in Gaza, quote, had nothing to do with Biden, Arab officials say. The deal today came after Trump's incoming Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, met with Netanyahu. The Trump envoy swayed Netanyahu more in one meeting than Biden did all year. This is from the Times of Israel. Arab officials, Trump envoy swayed Netanyahu more in one meeting than Biden did all year. tense Jerusalem sit-down led to the breakthrough in talks with Israel and Hamas agreeing in principle to hostage deal. 2 days later, sides now are finalizing the implementation details. Steve Witkoff isn't even in office. Donald Trump isn't even in office. Was Netanyahu playing games and waiting? I don't know. Bottom line is, it got done because of Donald Trump. The Democrats can try and take whatever victory lap they want. You'd have to be a complete moron to think that it was because of Joe Biden. There's no way they waited up to the very end and said, you know what? I think we'll do this before Joe leaves. Didn't happen. So let me take you back a couple. Let's see here. This is yesterday. Trump says, let me go to this link here so it looks better. Okay. Trump says, we have a deal for the hostages in the Middle East. They will be released shortly. Prior to that, and this is afterwards. Was it prior or after? It's 12/24 yesterday or today. All right. The epic ceasefire agreement could have only happened as a result of our historic victory in November, as it signaled to the entire world that my administration would seek peace and negotiate deals to ensure the safety of all Americans and our allies. I'm thrilled American and Israeli hostages will be returning home to be reunited with their family and loved ones. Obviously, some of them are dead, but they're going to have closure and they'll be able to bury the body. With this deal in place, my national security team, through the efforts of Special Envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, will continue to work closely with Israel and our allies to make sure Gaza never, in big letters, again becomes a terrorist safe haven. We will continue promoting peace through strength throughout the region as we build upon the momentum of this ceasefire to further expand the historic Abraham Accords. So he's going to put the Abraham Accords back together. If you don't remember, the Abraham Accords is what Jared Kushner and his team negotiated with the entire Arab world. And now he wants to put that back in place. So, that being said, they're getting it done. This is only the beginning of great things to come for America and indeed the world. We have achieved so much without even being in the White House. Just imagine all of the wonderful things that will happen when I return to the White House and my administration is fully confirmed so they can secure more victories for the United States. No doubt. No doubt there will be more. You see, right now, there's a little guy over in Ukraine who's got to be saying, it's over, isn't it? Yeah, it's over. You're not getting any more money. In fact, you owe us. I am pretty sure Trump is going to go over there and say, pay up. Whatever you got left over, we're going to stop this thing. And whatever's in your coffers, sell these mansions, sell these yachts, sell these, whatever. Give me my money back. You owe me. I'm going to save your ass from Vlad here. Pay me. F you. Pay me. I guarantee you it's coming. I guarantee you you're going to hear an announcement where Trump has said Zelensky's kicking back money to the United States. Not to him, like these other idiots have been doing, but rather bring money back to the United States. That's going to be conditional. Same thing I'm going to talk about tomorrow. All this stuff that's going on in California, it needs its own show. Their money's going to be conditional too. Whether the libnuts can scream till bloody murder, doesn't matter. They're going to have conditional funds to help with California. In fact, one of those conditions may be for Gavin Newsom to step down. That's what I've been hearing, that they may end up saying Karen Bass and Newsom, in order for us to get in there and fix this, you got to go. You've completely screwed this up. But that's another show, okay? So right now, we've got Trump taking care of business. And when I say taking care of business, for some reason, this story didn't get hardly any publicity. And I want to show it to you because you guys remember there was this huge dock strike that happened, I don't know, 2 months ago, and they kicked it down the road and said, in 2 months after Trump gets in, we're still going to strike. We're just going to stop it for now. Well, have you seen this? I'm going to have to give this its own page so you can see what was actually written. I am not sure who wrote this letter, but it's worth taking a look at because what did I just do here? I got to make it bigger. Okay, there we go. All right. I don't know if you've seen this. This is a letter from the International Longshoremen Association. ILA, International Longshoremen, Harold Daggett credits President Donald Trump support as the key to helping his members secure their greatest contract. And what's interesting is that this is dated January 8th. Have you heard about this? Why is this not news everywhere? I understand there's fires in LA, but how come nobody is talking about this? The leader of the International Longshoremen's Association has a message to incoming President Donald Trump. You have proven yourself to be one of the best friends of working men and women in the United States. Harold Daggett, international president, cites a face-to-face meeting he had with President-elect Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago in Florida on December 12th. He was joined by his son, the executive vice president, as a chief reason the ILA was able to win protections against the automation for its 85,000 members and negotiate a tentative master contract agreement. Okay. President Trump clearly demonstrated his unwavering support for our ILA union and longshore workers with his statement heard around the world, backing our position to protect American longshore jobs against the ravages of automated terminals. And on. He goes, President Trump's stance helped prevent a second coast-wide strike at ports from Maine to Texas that would have occurred on January 15th. So they were ready, as you may remember, to strike again. They were going to shut down all the ports across the country, well, at least the East Coast and part of the Gulf, on January 15th. Somehow, they go to Mar-a-Lago, cut a deal, and there's no strike. They have a new tentative contract. You can go ahead and read all this if you want, but he's a hero to our ILA union and members, said the ILA leader. President Trump, quote, let me read this, gets full credit. Not a little bit, gets full credit for the successful tentative master contract agreement. And there's Trump with these guys, these longshoremen guys, at Mar-a-Lago. Did you know that? Just so you can see the end, if I can show it to you. That's January 15th, which is today, at 11:01 a.m. You heard anybody talking about that in the media? I think it's kind of a big deal. I think Trump kind of did something big. All the ports, up and down the East Coast and around the Gulf, the strike that was coming has now been staved off. I'm looking to see, did you guys know this? No, not seeing it. Yeah, you know what we call this?
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
The title of tonight's show is Winning. And when I saw that, I was just wondering, how did that not get publicized? How did nobody talk about the fact that he averted a huge potential strike and blow to the economy, and nobody's talking about it? Nobody's talking about it. It's like it didn't happen. And that's why I wanted to see, did you guys, I'm looking at you guys, first time hearing this. I didn't hear it. The media is crap. Absolute crap. Winning. It's funny, you guys asked me to play that. Trump working overtime. Absolutely overtime. So, in one day, he averts, well, Hamas averted some big problems, and they've tentatively agreed to bring back the hostages and ceasefire. In addition, the other ceasefire is the longshoreman strike. Two monstrous moves that waddling, diaper-ridden Biden, well, at least he's going to try and take control or take credit for one of them, but I don't know how he takes credit for the other one because no one's even talking about it, so he probably doesn't even know. Doesn't even know. So let me tell you about something else that's happening. While we were covering Pete Hegseth's hearing yesterday for 5.5 hours, and then Pam Bondi's hearing today for 6 hours, something else happened. So you got to get a load of this. I kind of showed it quickly, but I didn't have a chance to talk about it. And as you read this, you're going to be extremely, and I mean extremely, intrigued by this entire idea. I mean, it's a amazing idea. So without further ado, we talked about it yesterday for a short period of time. For far too long, we have relied on taxing our great people using the Internal Revenue Service, IRS. Through soft and pathetically weak trade agreements, the American economy has delivered growth and prosperity to the world while taxing us. It is time for that to change. I am today announcing, and this was yesterday, I am today announcing that I will create the External Revenue Service to collect tariffs, duties, and all revenue that comes from foreign sources. We will begin charging those that make money off of us with trade, and they will start paying. Finally, and he's using their words against them, their fair share. And I'm like, that makes perfect sense. And it should satisfy the fair share nuts. January 20th, 2025 will be the birth date of the External Revenue Service. Make America great again. That's an idea that is so simple. You, Robin, you look around and go, why the hell haven't we been doing that? Why isn't there an External Revenue Service? Why have we been having to foot the bill for the entirety of the world? And I know as you guys chew on it right now, and if that's the first time you heard about it except for yesterday, you may think to yourself, yeah, why are we doling out money across the world and we don't see it coming back? So how much money could we actually bring in from outside sources to diminish the amount of money you and I have to pay every year? I mean, it's January, so you're going to start getting your stuff from your employer. They're going to send you, the document, which you got to say how much you made, and then you got to tell the IRS, okay, here's what I made, and you already know how much you've taken because you've been taking out of my paycheck every 2 weeks or whatever. But you need, now I'm going to be short, I got to write a check, or am I going to get a refund, which is just a stupid word. It's not a refund, it's your flipping money. So I saw that, and then I saw this. Donald Trump announces the ERS, External Revenue Service. The next step is to abolish the IRS. First video, which I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you two videos here. I got them lined up. The first video is Trump revealing that the only reason we're paying an income tax in America, and when you think about this, it makes you just go, huh? The only reason we're paying income tax in America is U.S. politicians are paid off by foreign countries. It didn't say America is paid off. It says U.S. politicians are paid off. Hey, let me grease you a couple million every year so you guys keep giving us money. So in other words, we've been sold out. We've been sold out so many times. I won't make the analogy. But the government's been a huge pimp thus far. And the second video is by a guy who's completely changed the economic reality of people in El Salvador. Their new president, Nayib Bukele. And he says the IRS and excessive American tax system are completely unnecessary. Quote, you pay high taxes only to uphold the illusion, the scam that you are funding the government, which you are not. And I know a couple of you guys are reading this right now going, oh, wait a second. This is crazy. Because you don't think about it. Yeah, we're funding 150 gazillion to Ukraine, and we're sending money there, and they're just printing it. Doesn't exist. Just print it. Just send it. Send it. You know, sometimes the trick is, oh, we sent it in weapons. It wasn't in money. Oh, it's still money. It's still a goods. It still has to be replaced. It still has value. It's still sending our money, our goods, elsewhere. What do we get? I'm asking you a very serious question. You send Zelensky $200 or $300 billion. What do you get? There is never any reciprocity. You're not giving us anything. Hey, let's go ahead and send all this money to Syria and take care of them, or Israel, or here, or there. It's all outflow. There's no inflow. Why? Why? Some of these countries who we give money to actually make money. Why do we not get it back? And that's what Trump is saying here with the ERS. So I want you to listen to what Trump says here. It makes so much sense.
Unless they pay a big price, and the big price is tariffs. And he'd speak like that, but he was right. And then around in the early 1900s, they switched over stupidly to, frankly, an income tax. And you know why? Because countries were putting a lot of pressure on America. We don't want to pay tariffs. Please don't. You know, believe me, they control our politicians. If you look at the kind of numbers that these guys make then and now, but
it's the politicians. It didn't used to be this way. Some of you, well, hopefully you guys aren't that old, back and remember the 1900s. Maybe you may know history, but it wasn't like this. We didn't give our money by force, because you don't have much of a choice. Once you're employed, once you get your job, they're going to take it out of your paycheck, and then they do whatever they want with it. They don't even have a budget. Budget schmudget. We just print some more and tax some more, and then you get these politicians that run around saying, we need a fair share, we need more. You're not paying your fair share. What's fair share? Fair share is whatever we tell you it is. Well, that doesn't seem too fair. Because if I paid my fair share, next year you can't say, oh no, we'll say it. You made more, we need more. But what do you need it for? Why aren't you, a government with a zero balance? Why are you constantly sending money of ours out to these other countries without getting anything back? Oh, that's right. Wasn't that called wealth redistribution? That was the fancy word that the commies and Marxists put out there, is we need to make it, nice for everybody else. I didn't sign up for that. I know you didn't sign up for that. I'm all about helping people with disasters. I'm all about helping people if they need food. But just like now with California. With California, we're talking about, hey, listen, we'll help you. The American people are very generous. But unlike before, it's going to have little caveats to it. You're going to have to perform in order for the money to keep coming. Which is going to shock the Democrats. What do you mean we have to perform? Oh yeah, you're going to have to do things. We'll give you X amount now, and then when the report card comes out, just like with a kid, we'll give you some more. And then when you do that, we'll give you some more. It's not just going to be, here you go, Gavin, have a gazillion dollars, do what you need to do, pay who you need to pay. Nope, ain't going to happen. So if we're going to do that with California, why aren't we doing it with the rest of the world? If we're the most powerful country, or it used to be, on Earth, and we need to be that again, why aren't we doing that with everybody we help? Hey, listen, I understand you guys got wiped out in this last tornado, hurricane, fire, earthquake, name it. Name the national disaster. We're America. We're going to help you. But, and I'm wondering why there's never a but. You know, when we dropped those 2 bombs on Japan and we said, hey, we got to rebuild it, there was a cost to that. Very expensive cost. Same thing with Germany, with Ramstein Air Force Base and all these. Why are these other countries not having to give us anything? So let's continue, and you're going to be shocked here.
We had a commission meeting in the, I think it was 1887. Think of this problem. We were so rich, we had so much money, we didn't know what to do, so they set up a blue ribbon commission on tariffs, and the sole purpose is what to do with all the money we had. We were so rich.
Imagine that. They had to create a panel because we had too much money, which to me isn't a problem. You ever have to sit down with your wife and go, oh, honey, I don't know what we're going to do. What's wrong? We got too much money. Those conversations don't happen. It's like we've been conditioned to never having that conversation. Most marriages break up because just the opposite. Hey, we don't have enough money. You'll have that conversation with your spouse. You'll have that conversation with your boss. But you never have a conversation where you say, I don't know what to do with all this money. It's a mindset. It's a mindset. If you've never had that conversation, what am I going to do with all this money? It's because you've been trained not to have that conversation. It's so insidious. Once I started digging into this, and I'm realizing people aren't trained for that. People don't lay down on dollar bills on their bed like they did in that show and do, snow angels on money. You're not accustomed to having too much money. What are we going to do with all this money? Says very, very small amount of people. Why? I know there's many people in our audience here on Fanfare who are on fixed incomes. And they want you to stay on a fixed income. Why? Why are you on a fixed income? Because the country doesn't have enough money to help you prosper, even though you work for 30, 40 years? Why are they homeless? Why? I mean, I'm not talking about the people who are afflicted with drugs. Why are they homeless? Why are there not places where you can go check in if you need a place to stay for a month? Hey, listen, I lost my job. I need to get back on my feet. Okay, we're going to send you this card. You can go check in, like a newcomer. What? Oh, yeah. How did it happen that somehow the government found the money to send newcomers to go check into luxury hotels, pay everything, and we got nothing? Whereas an American says, listen, I'm not looking for a hand out. I'm looking for a hand up. Help me out. Let me go stay in a luxury hotel for, 30 days. I'm going to look for a job because I don't want to be on the dole. There are very, 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 very few people who like being on the dole. So the American spirit says, help me out. Thank you, government. I'm going to go check in this hotel. I'll use the bus pass. I'll find a job. And then you know what? Then I pay taxes. I'm paying you back. What are we getting from the newcomers? Why can't that same program be made available for Americans? Have you thought about that? Here's one that gets me. It just drives me nuts. Why is there a Veterans Administration? Why is there a VA? Why can't a VA person have a card and they can walk into any doctor, any hospital, anywhere in the country and say, I got a cold, I'm not feeling well, can you check me out? Why are 22 veterans committing suicide every single day for ever how long that's been going on? Why do they have to wonder where their next meal is coming from? What are they, as a veteran, not as deserving as a newcomer? Hey, I understand things aren't working out for you, Phil. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to put you up. You got to make sure you're drug tested, make sure you're not drinking. We're going to get you back on your feet, put you in a program. You ain't got to pay nothing. You took, people shot at you for us. People made you sit in a dirt. You had to sleep in dirt for us. And now you're telling me I got to drive 75 miles to some veteran administration where I'm just a number? I never understood that. Oh, I get a mortgage, I get this thing, no! Hey, here's your card. Go with Penny Realtor and tell us you want to live in this house up to whatever amount of money we're saying. You're not going to get a $10 million home. But here's your house. You earned it. People were shooting at you. And God forbid you left something on the battlefield. If you left your legs or an eye or whatever, why do they have to go to the Veterans Administration? And these newcomers, we just saw it. These newcomers just get to walk into a luxury hotel, get flown all around the world. Where are you from? I'm from blah, blah, blah. And you're flying me into Springfield, Ohio. You've been conditioned. We've been conditioned to thinking we don't deserve it. We're just Americans. You got to pay your fair share, you idiot, you schlub American. These people are the ones who we need to take care of. It pisses you off, doesn't it? And then they take more and more and more and want to raise your taxes. And then they bitch when Donald Trump comes in and says, you know what? I'd like to lower your taxes. Oh my God, you want to lower taxes? Yeah, I want to lower taxes. Maybe no taxes on tips. Maybe no taxes on overtime. Maybe no taxes on Social Security. Oh my God. The reaction is viscerally reflexive because they don't want it to go too far. Buddy Carter, a congressman who we're going to be talking to next week, I think Ashley has booked, who's come up with that proposal that says no income tax, no IRS, 23% sales tax. And on the surface, people are going to freak out. They're going to absolutely freak out. Except for one thing. I'm going to go over it with them. You control what you consume. Think about that. You go into the store, the grocery store. There's steak, and there's chicken, and there's cupcakes. Maybe, just maybe, you're not going to want to pay 23% sales tax on flipping cupcakes. Or in my case, blueberry muffins. Maybe it'll help people eat healthier because now you got to be conscious that you're going to have to buy this and buy that instead of this and this. Not because you can't afford it, but because it becomes a value calculation. Do I want to pay 23% sales tax on Twinkies? Or do I want to pay 23% sales tax on some hamburger? Pretty much a simple choice. I know I've gone on. Let me continue with this video.
We were taxing other people for coming in and taking our jobs. And China does it. That's what China did. If you want to open a factory and sell cars, if you build a factory here or have a factory, they don't take our cars. They wouldn't take our cars. But if you build a plant in China, you can do that. Elon did that. By the way, Elon is great. That guy is such a great guy. I think you're a fan of Elon.
Who? Elon? Oh, I thought he's the guy that some of the MAGA Confederates hate. And they're starting that shit up again. They are starting that up again. Trump takes office in 5 days. And you got some of these fringe, and they're not really that fringe. They are influential people on X and YouTube bitching about it again. Elon. We gotta take Elon out. That's a whole different story. I'll continue with that later.
He is from a different planet. He's the greatest guy. That rocket coming in.
For instance, the financial situation of the United States. When I talk to my conservative friends right here.
So this is, just to let you remember, this is Nayib Bukele. He is the new president of El Salvador. So let's take a listen to what he has to say.
They always tell me that the problem is high taxes. But they're wrong. Of course, high taxes are extremely high here in the United States. I give you that. You're right in that. But that's not the real problem. The real problem is not the high taxes themselves, but the fact that they are not even really funding the government. But even those high taxes.
Did you know that? You know, when someone points something out like that, it's easy to understand. Listen, the taxes isn't your problem. The problem is you're under the illusion that your taxes are paying for everything. Hey, you know, we wouldn't be able to have these bridges and these highways and this and that without you paying for your taxes. And here's a guy from another country going, they're selling you an illusion. The money that gets taken from you isn't to run the government.
Higher than a lot of places in the world, but even those taxes are really funding the government. So who's financing the government? Government is financed by treasury bonds.
All right, so T-bills, treasury bonds. They put them out there on the market, and they sell a gazillion of them, and that money comes in. And there's a coupon rate to it, whether it be 3%, 5%, or everything else. That money there is what they're using to do all the crazy stuff with from your income tax. But the sale of these bonds is what is actually funding the government.
Paper. And who buys the treasury bonds? Mostly the Fed. And how does the Fed buy them? By printing money.
You seeing this scam go on? Hey, we're going to offer up these T-bills to have people purchase them. But who's going to buy them? Well, the Federal Reserve will buy them. You know, the same Federal Reserve that controls the interest rates on the T-bills. Well, how are we going to buy them? Because we don't have any money. Let's just print some. And it becomes a vicious circle. It just keeps perpetuating.
What backing does the Fed have for that money being printed? The treasury bonds themselves. So basically, you finance the government by printing money out of thin air. Someone could ask, well, so if the government can print unlimited amounts of money out of thin air, why do they collect taxes? I mean, in theory, it would make sense, right? If they can print unlimited amounts of money, why would they need taxes for us? The answer is simple, but it's very shocking. The real problem is that you pay high taxes only to uphold the illusion that you are funding the government, which you are not.
That is shocking. You're paying taxes so that you can be trained to be a SEAL, to be that person on the treadmill because you think you're funding the government. This deep state stuff is insidious. I mean, nefarious. It's a perfect psyop. There are so many people, my family, my parents, grew up, lock, stop, pay your taxes April 15th, pay your taxes April 15th. Never stopping to go, why? What do you mean? We're supposed to, we have to. There's no other choice. Really? Do you really think that? Wait till you hear Buddy Carter talk. When you start talking to people and they talk about why you pay taxes, your eyes are going to roll back in your head. Because everything that you thought you were doing, you're being a fine, upstanding citizen by making sure you either got a refund or cut a check on April 15th, and it's all hogwash. It's all an illusion.
It's shocking, but it's true. The government is funded by money printing, paper backed with paper, a bubble that will inevitably burst. The situation is even worse than it seems, because if most Americans and the rest of the world were to become aware of this farce, confidence in your currency would be lost, the dollar will fall, and the Western civilization with it. If the next president of the United States doesn't make the necessary policies and structural changes, sooner or later that bubble will burst. There's still time. You don't have to make the same mistakes we did in the 60s and the 70s. You can still jump before the water boils.
In case he had a heavy accent, the last thing he just said was, there is still time to change it. You can still jump before the water boils. And you sit back and think of that vision, that vista. What did he just talk about? You heard the whole thing about boiling a frog, and by the time they realize that they're boiled, it's too late. But early, if they just jumped out the water, they'd be safe. Well, right now, we got a whole lot of people sitting in the water, especially on the left, who think everything's fine, it's just getting hot in here. Oh, it's a little bit of global warming as the water is starting to heat up. And right now that water is getting warm. And they've been basically tried to set Trump up, and Biden's out there right now doing his 8 o'clock speech, basically saying, hey, I did great, I'm leaving, and everybody else is going to screw things up. Yeah, right. All the billionaires and gazillionaires, all those people, those are the problem. When it's actually you. Because you allow this to continue. Obviously, to a certain extent, most people don't have the ability to get out the water. The water just boils around them, and they have no choice. But that's where Trump's coming in now. And everything he has said thus far about no taxes on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security. He's talking about doing away with the estate tax, possibly property tax. You're getting taxed out the wazoo, and you don't know where that money goes. And they tell you it's, you drive on the roads, you drive on the bridges, and it's all an illusion. And I am so happy that there are now people out there who are willing to talk about it, not afraid to talk about it, to educate so many people. When we talk to Buddy Carter, your eyes are going to pop. You're going to realize that what you've been taught and what you've been doing for your entire adult life is a lie. This is why they wanted to take Trump out. That's why Biden is giving this talk tonight, trying to tamp down everything and blame it all on the billionaires. It's not that. He's going to unravel the government. But until then, the water's still boiling around you, and you got to get to a point where you can jump out the water, which, nice segue, is why I buy gold and silver. And let me do that again. Okay, now go. As you know, President Trump has assembled the Avengers to make America great again. And of course, we're all excited and ready to see them get to work. But with everything we're seeing right now, don't take your eye off the ball. Things could get much worse before they get better. With the possibility of World War III still looming, and with the Democrats doing everything they can to impede Trump, you still need to keep your guard up and your money protected. Oh, and our national debt is still massively increasing. Don't get me wrong, I have high hopes for Trump's America, but I also have a family to look out for. You see, Trump and the Avengers have quite the uphill battle ahead. That's why I'm making sure I'm protected, and I'm recommending that you do the same. One way to be protected is by diversifying your portfolio. That's why on this channel I've been happy to partner with Lear Capital. As you know, I've been involved in real estate for quite some time, and although I dabbled in gold and silver, Kevin and his staff at Lear have helped to educate me even further, especially in regards to silver. Give Lear a call today and they'll show you how easy it is to move some of your savings or your retirement account into gold and silver. Gold and silver have been proven to hold value and protect wealth for the long term. Call Lear today at 800-601-5430 or go to learberry.com to get your free gold and silver wealth protection guides. There's no obligation, just free information. Many of you have seen my interviews with Lear founder Kevin Demerit, and I can tell you this company is solid and likes to educate their customers. Just so you know, Lear has over 27 years of experience, thousands of 5-star reviews, and over $3 billion in trusted transactions, and is the only company with a 24-hour risk-free purchase. You don't pay unless you're 100% satisfied. So call 800-601-5430 or go to learberry.com. And when you call, don't forget to ask how you can get up to $15,000 in bonus gold or silver with a qualifying purchase. So if you'd like to take advantage of this opportunity, please call my friends at Lear Capital at 800-601-5430 and tell them Barry sent you. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go into the 10 spot here, where I'm going to go through 10 things. A lot of it has to do with Pete Hegseth and Pam Bondi. And then what I'm going to do, because I looked at the poll here, almost 4,000 votes, and 56% of you have not seen my interview with Nancy Mace. So I'm going to go through the 10 right now. Those of you who have seen the Nancy Mace video can jump after this 10 spot. And those of you who haven't seen it, we're going to close the show with me showing you that Nancy Mace video. But without further ado, let's look at the 10.
Here's the big finish. 10 stories that you just gotta hear. Number 10.
Asked Senator John Thune, who's the Republican leader, the majority leader, decides the schedule of the United States Senate. I asked him about Hegseth's nomination. Thune has not said a ton about this nomination. I said, does he have any concerns about these allegations of sexual assault that Hegseth has denied but came up in today's hearing, about these allegations of misconduct and the like? And he indicated he does not. According to Thune, he said that Hegseth acquitted himself extremely well and that he plans to move very quickly on this nomination. It is moving quickly. We expect the Senate Armed Services Committee to have a vote as soon as Monday, Inauguration Day. That is according to the chairman of the committee, Roger Wicker, who told me that he believes that he'll get the support of all Republicans and be able to push this through.
All right, so I wanted to bring that to you. Even CNN's now reporting Pete Hegseth is in. So if they're moving that fast on Inauguration Day, that the committee chairman is calling a vote on Inauguration Day. Get your butts in here. We're going to go ahead and vote. So what has to happen is the committee, all these hearings you're seeing are happening in committee. In order for the entire Senate to vote on it, it has to pass through committee first. The committee, I think the Armed Services one was 25 people, so you're going to need 13 votes to get through. The Republicans have 13 because they control the committee. So he's going to get it pushed through on Monday. And then sometime, probably next week, it'll be for the entire Senate to vote, which the Republicans hold 53-47. So he's going to get confirmed, no doubt.
Number 9.
Start with the bad news, 2.9%. That's the annual inflation rate. This was hotter than expected. It's the third straight month where this number has gone up, further away from that 2% goal, and this is the highest since July. Also, the monthly number was a little bit hotter than expected. When we look at the trend, you can see that, yes, there's been a lot of progress from the nightmare of 2.5 years ago, and yet some of that progress has started to unwind and stall out in the last few months. Now, you can see it right here. You see it's starting to tick a little bit higher. That's not what you want to see.
So, hey, I needed to go on a diet, and I'm 50 pounds overweight, but now I'm only 30 pounds overweight, and the Democrats take that as a win. We're only 30 pounds overweight, but we were 50. You're still 30 pounds overweight. Our economy still sucks, and right now Joe Biden's out there doing a victory lap on television telling everybody how great he's done, which he probably believes it because he doesn't have anything up here.
8.
If we stay on the road we're on right now, in less than 10 years, virtually everything that matters to us in life will depend on whether China will allow us to have it or not. Everything from the blood pressure medicine we take to what movies we get to watch, and everything in between, we will depend on China for it. They have come to dominate the critical mineral industry supplies throughout the world. Everywhere in the world, they've now established critical mineral rights. Even those who want to see more electric cars, no matter where you make them, those batteries are almost entirely dependent on the ability of the Chinese and the willingness of the Chinese Communist Party to produce it and export it to you. So if we don't change course, we are going to live in a world where much of what matters to us on a daily basis, from our security to our health, will be dependent on whether the Chinese allow us to have it or not. That's an unacceptable outcome.
I'd say everything in your life will be dependent upon whether, and notice the word he used, whether China allows it. So if he can see it, and many people can see it, why are the Democrats allowing it? You see, that's not a surprise what Marco Rubio just said. People have been saying that for years. China owns so much of our debt. China is buying so much of our farmland. China. And we see it. We see it happening, and nobody over the last 4 years has done anything about it. You know, the spy balloons. Hey, don't say anything. And then the drones. Trump said he's going to tell us about the drones. What are you going to do when you find out that guy, the original guy, who said, I saw them coming out of the water in New Jersey, and then somebody said, yeah, there's a ship or sub or something under the water that China is launching these drones. What are you going to do when you find out that your government looked the other way? I'm hoping we're all wrong. I'm hoping it was us. But something, if it was us, I think they would have said something, right? They just didn't say anything. I hope the inauguration is fine. I hope there's not just a drone swarm flying around up there. Scary stuff. And the Democrats let it happen.
Number 7.
Are you familiar with something called the QAnon conspiracy?
I have heard of it, but I do not know what it is.
People watching, they're listening. I can't really talk about it. But the fact that Dick Durbin brought this up again, just to let you know, whatever you know about that 17th letter, it is right now January 15th. Over the next 14, 30 days, it's obvious that's about to resurface. The mere fact that Kash Patel, who all these people are freaking out about, half of the Pam Bondi hearing and a lot of the Pete Hegseth hearing was about Kash Patel. And Dick Durbin just crossed over to the third rail. He's bringing it up in a nationally televised hearing. And that's something we're not even really allowed to talk about. So he's going to have to, he's bringing it into the mainstream. Hey, you ever heard about this thing here? And Pam's, you know she's heard it. We've all heard it. Many of us have read it. She has to play it. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't know nothing about it. You know what we're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. But we're about to hear a lot of it. And you're going to hear some people get indoctrinated and understand what happened a few years ago. This is about to get really interesting.
Yes, but I've heard of it many times, Senator.
So let me tell you what I've learned about it. Its core belief is that a cabal of satanic, cannibalistic child molesters are embedded within our government.
That was him. He said it. I didn't say nothing. That was Dick Durbin, the senator of the United States government, just talked about what, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And are conspiring against President-elect Trump. They asked Mr. Patel about it, and he said, quote, I agree with a lot that the movement says. End of quote.
You see, this movement that he's talking about isn't really a movement. You know why it's not a movement? Because they drove it underground. We're not allowed to talk about it, not even allowed to discuss it. You have to wonder why. Why can't people discuss something? Why can't, if people have some ideas as to what this certain cabal are doing or what they've done, or why has it been off limits? Why instead of suppressing it, didn't you refute it? If it's such a crazy thing that nobody should ever believe that it's just preposterous, why do you want it suppressed? Why did you make it so that nobody on any platform could even discuss it? I mean, there's no boogeyman under the bed. Some people think there's boogeymen in the closet. Some people, younger, still believe in Santa Claus. Some people believe in the Tooth Fairy. We're able to have movies and everything about the Tooth Fairy. And obviously, Santa Claus, Easter Bunny. But nobody's ready for that 17th letter. We don't want anybody ever discussing it. Do you know, here you can get banned. Facebook may be different now. Maybe some people start talking about it on Facebook because called Mark Zuckerberg's bluff. Twitter, it was an instant ban. No questions asked. Bring that up, boom, you're gone. Don't even want you to hear about it. But why can't I even? Because I'm sure there's people in here saying, what is it? What are you talking about? The fact that there's people in chat saying, what is it? And the fact that we can't even tell you what it is tells you there's something wrong. So Dick Durbin brings it up and says, have you ever heard about this? I don't know nothing about it, Dick. Because she knows she can't talk about it. So they're going to, when Kash Patel gets up there, it is going to be Q-Fest. It is, but then again, it might not be because they may be afraid of what he might say. You see, if you ask the question, are you ready for the answer? Are you ready to look at what's behind door number 2? Because door number 2 has been taped, locked, chained. Nobody can look in door number 2. Can't do it. And if you even walk up and try the handle on door number 2, you get vaporized. But now we're about to hear Trump's going to be inaugurated on Monday. And then right after that, whatever time they end up doing Kash Patel, you watch what happens in the media. You guys are all nuts. Everybody's a nut. Everybody's crazy. Well, if we're so crazy, why won't you let us have a discussion about it? We're going to see some things that's going to scare some people. Because if Facebook is true and he lets people talk, and Elon lets people talk on X, you're about to see Pandora's box open wide. Be prepared. Say some prayers. Pray for what you may see in the next 30 days. Because if Elon's not going to stop it and Zuckerberg's not going to stop it, I'm telling you, you are about to see some crap that's going to blow your mind. And you're going to be able to discern for yourself, hopefully, whether or not you're like that frog inside the big boiling water. I've told you before, Robin came to me one night years ago, and she goes, what's this red pill stuff? Honey, I don't know if you're ready for it. I'm gonna go to bed. Why are you walking away? Why don't you want to talk about it? Why won't you tell me what it is? What can we discuss it? We've been married 30 years. Can we talk about this red pill thing? I don't know, honey. I don't know if you're ready for it. That's what's going to happen to a lot of new people on X. A lot of new people on Facebook, they're going to say, what, can I lean in here? What is this all about? And whether you don't want to believe it or whether you do believe it, there's still going to be a lot of people who are very inquisitive. And then what do you think happens when people start seeing what they're going to see? All hell is going to break loose. And Dick Durbin is trying to touch the water here and go, is this something we should even get into?
Does that sound like a good preparation to run the FBI?
Senator, I don't know anything about. I had heard of QAnon, but I've never heard that definition attached to it at all. You're going to have to ask Mr. Patel about those statements.
We will.
What? You heard what he just said. When I heard that this morning, I almost jumped out of my chair, and I'm thinking, did anybody else hear what he just said? Pam Bondi says, hey, listen, you're going to have to ask Cash. We will. Oh, get your popcorn. I'm telling you, when it's time for that hearing, if these guys have the cojones, if they have the nuts to go ahead and ask Cash Patel to explain what it is, all hell is going to break loose. Will Cash go there? Will he say, hey, listen, I don't want to discuss it. I don't want to discuss it in an open forum. I'm telling you, get a double bag of buttery hot popcorn. If this man is telling the truth, and that's where he wants to go, on national television, in the middle of the day.
And I'll tell you, until we get answers to those questions, I don't know many people on this side of the table will give him an unequivocal endorsement. This and his enemies list, what he calls his government gangsters, this is what you expect of Stasi. This is what you expect of secret police. It is not what you expect of justice in America, as you've even described it at the table today. So I would say this unequivocal support of Mr. Patel should at least have some reservation until he explains some of these outrageous positions he has taken.
I look forward to hearing his testimony about QAnon in front of this committee.
You will.
I'm telling you, you saw her face. I'm looking forward to his testimony about it in front of this panel. She basically said, I dare you. And her pretty blonde face, I dare you. Let's listen to that again, because that was just, that was just, you got to hear it again.
Just positions he has taken.
I look forward to hearing his testimony about QAnon in front of this committee.
You will. Let me.
There's people in the background. You sure? That's all I'm going to say tonight. I hope it's piqued your interest to get ready. You say the prayers, because if Cash Patel comes into his hearing and he starts talking about this stuff, all hell's you're gonna see these people go absolutely flipping ballistic. That's all I'm gonna say about it tonight. Let's wait until it happens. In the meantime, start doing your workouts. And what I mean by workouts is go search, learn, be ready.
Number 6.
During the election, during the campaign. First, are the felons convicted of breaking into the Capitol on January 6th hostages or patriots, quoting Trump, as President-elect Trump has said?
There's a lot of stupid people in government. Mazie Hirono might be in the top 5. I mean, some of the other ones are crooks. She's just stone stupid. And she's going to get her feelings hurt here.
Repeatedly, do you agree with his characterization of the felons that I referred to?
I am not familiar with that statement, Senator.
I just familiarized you with that statement. Do you agree with that statement?
I'm not familiar with it, Senator.
No answer. He has also said illegal immigration is poisoning the blood of our nation. He said that in December 2023. Do you agree with that statement?
Senator, I am not familiar with that statement, but what I can tell you is I went to the border a few months ago. I went to Yuma, Arizona, and what I saw at that border was horrific, Senator. It was horrific.
Ms. Bondi,
I went to a
that-
rape crisis center.
That
If
is
I could
not my
finish,
question.
I went to a rape crisis center. Well, I'm not familiar with the statement, but I went to a
to
rape
the
crisis
next-
center. I
Let me
met
get to
with
the
Border
important-
Patrol
I have?
agents. I'm sure you've been to the
Ms.
border
Bondi,
as well, so
I
you
want to
could
get
answer
to my
that.
next question.
Notice she said that 3, maybe 4 times. I've been to a bleep crisis center. Right after Dickie Pooh says, we're going to ask Cash about this other stuff. And she's like, I went to the border and I saw what's going on in these bleep crisis centers with kids. Mazie Hirono was like, yeah, let me move on to my next question. Pam Bondi knew exactly where she was going with that. The Democrats, either they're clueless or they're walking into a bear trap of epic proportions. Pam Bondi is extremely smart, extremely skilled, and she said that 4 times. I went to the border and I went to a bleep, because I can't say the word, crisis center. Yeah, I went to bleep a crisis center. And Mazie Hirono, who was trying to go someplace, completely like, I can't talk about this. Well, you better damn well get ready. Because if Dick Durbin's going to open that door, that's one of the things they don't want to talk about. I talked about that with Nancy Mace in the interview. So if you haven't seen it, stick around. I'm going to show that at the end. There's something wrong with the Democrats. They are either being paid or they're protecting people or both. Because when they ever get to the edge of that water, they back off really, really quick. And I mean real quick. She gave her the opportunity to let her know, I'm coming. I've been there. Oh, no, let's move on to the next question. I've seen some of the comments here, and you guys are like, yeah. Some of the stuff about what Durbin was talking about. And I love that you're telling people, start praying. I mean, I'm not even being over dramatic. Reason I'm saying is because when I started showing Robin some stuff that I just told you, she stayed up all night. I came down the stairs and she's still sitting on the couch and looked like I had gotten in a fight and beat her up or something. Her eyes were bloated. She'd like, what's wrong? I've been crying all night. You haven't been to bed yet? What are you doing? I'm just going through one thing after the other. And understand that one thing after the other, they were playing whack-a-mole trying to make it go away so nobody could see it. Her other Twitter profile, she got banned off of Twitter for looking at some stuff and sharing it. And now Elon's letting people you don't even know.
So
Number 5.
For the FBI director who says he has an enemy list. And that's just the beginning of what he has said in terms of politicizing, deeply weaponizing the FBI against political opponents, that he shouldn't be the FBI director. You know, we have some history here with your predecessors, Barr, Sessions, and others, who perhaps sincerely, when they sat where you are now, said that they would say no, but they were working with a president that expected them to be his Roy Cohn, his personal attorney. Do you really think that you can avoid the disgrace that they encountered or the repercussions from the White House if you say no to the president? And so my question to you is, can you say no to the president of the United States when he asks you to do something unethical or illegal?
Senator, first, I need to clarify something that you said, that I have to sit up here and say these things. No, I don't. I sit up here and speak the truth.
Slap that toupee right off your head if it's a toupee, or slap the gray back into your head. These people tried to demean this woman by saying she's basically a puppet. And she's like, no, that ain't gonna fly.
I'm not going to sit up here and say anything that I need to say to get confirmed by this body. I don't have to say anything.
Number 4.
Will it be your advice to the president? No, Mr. President, I need to go over them on a case-by-case basis. Do not issue blanket pardons. Will that be your advice to the president?
Senator, I have not looked at any of those files. If confirmed, I will look at the files
And
for
will
the
you be able to
pardons, as well
will
as
you
the
be able to
ongoing
review
investigation.
hundreds of cases on day one?
I will look at every file I am asked to look at.
Of course you won't. So will you advise the president?
Can I answer the question?
Well, my question
I would
is-
have plenty of staff. You said.
They thought they were going to roll over. Obviously, they didn't do their homework.
Of course you want.
You'll be able to review
Listen, I'm
hundreds
not
of
going to
cases on the first day?
mislead this body nor you.
All right, let me ask another question. You don't want to answer that. Let me answer
You were
another question.
censured by
It will
Congress,
also-
Senator, for
it will
comments.
I don't know if you just heard what you were censored by Congress, you know. Yeah, for the exact same reason why you're doing right now.
Just like this, that are so reckless.
Number 3.
Your job will be, I'm speaking, your job will be to protect voters and election workers, not to undermine and dox them. Now, I know that earlier you agreed that Joe Biden is in fact president, but many of the president-elect's inner circle continue to spread the big lie about the 2020 election. Then we'll move on to a different topic. I know that's
Senator,
one
you were
that you're obviously
speaking.
not comfortable
May
with.
I speak? You cut
When
me
I ask
off
you the
when I
next
was
question, you
speaking.
can speak, and I hope you answer, Ms. Bondi.
Well, I'd
now,
like
when
to
we met
answer the
yesterday,
previous one, Senator.
when we met yesterday,
You pointed your finger at me and
you
said
did not
you were
seem
speaking.
to be familiar
let me answer
with
my question.
the
I'm not going to be
citizenship
bullied by you,
clause, the
Senator
14th
Padilla.
Amendment of the United States of America, which was deeply disappointing.
I guess you
And I'm
didn't want to
hoping you're
hear
more
my
familiar
answer
with it
about
today
Pennsylvania.
after I gave an opportunity to study overnight. So can you tell me and this committee what the citizenship clause of the 14th Amendment says?
Senator, I'm here to answer your questions. I'm not here to do your homework and study for you. If I am confirmed as
you're
Attorney
the one
General,
asking for a confirmation
hey,
vote,
you
ma'am.
cut me off. Can I please finish?
What does the 14th Amendment say?
Senator, the 14th Amendment, we all know, addresses birthright citizenship. I've been a state prosecutor. I've been a state AG. I look forward to, even given your remarks today, working with you and the people of California if I am confirmed as the 87th Attorney General of the United States of America. I didn't take your homework assignment. I'm sorry. I was preparing for today.
Number.
I didn't take your homework assignment. I play that again because many of you watched that 6-hour hearing with me. And I go back and I watch, and if you remember, that was round one. These people came at her with fangs and claws, and it was almost like somebody said at lunchtime, we lost. They put in the second string. Every question was just lame. They realized they couldn't make any headway. They probably had a focus group backstage and went, it ain't working. You can't beat up on this woman like this. You can't do it. She's smacking you back. And they all, it was visible, the white flag waving. I mean, you could just see it and how they did it. It was like, okay, Miss Bondi, and I'm just wondering, during that break, when they went to that break, did they talk to consultants or I don't know, but it was so different. And I said earlier, I think at that point, at that lunch break, that they said, let's fall back, let's get ready for Kash Patel. We lost Pete, we lost this one, we're done, we look stupid, we got nothing. And this woman isn't allowing us to basically have our way.
2.
Because Biden would fly him in the middle of the night, not tell us about it, and then all of a sudden you'd have people, the feds would bust them all over God's creation. That's not going to happen this time with the Trump administration. We'll be able to work constructively together. We also want to make sure that we are expanding our existing authorities so that local and state officials are empowered, and the federal government would have to bless this, and I think they will, they should be empowered to detain and deport people who are here illegally. It should not be, well, we ran out of ICE beds, therefore you got to release somebody on the street and then they go out and create problems for our communities. That's not the way it works. So that is going to be really, really significant. We also need better gang enforcement. We've got to broaden the legal definition of gang-related activities so that it includes these groups of very dangerous illegal aliens, these Venezuelans. It's really, really bad.
The guy that was to his left, that's Sheriff Grady Judd. And you want some humorous videos to watch? Go watch some videos on YouTube featuring Sheriff Grady Judd. Sheriff Grady Judd makes no bones about it. If you do something in his county, you might get whacked. He has encouraged his population, protect yourself. You got to do it, you got to do it. And that piece from my governor just shows you what can get done if a state has the initiative to do it. Trump got elected, and in the span of 60 days, they went from concept to him signing a law about what they're going to do to help Tom Homan and immigration. We're going to see an exodus quickly here in South Florida. Oh, well, actually, all Florida. It's going to be quick. And if the other states follow that model, if they call up Ron and say, "What did you do? How did you do it?" Okay, we'll do it. It's going to happen very fast. People have asked how fast. Can they really do it? Can they really deport, millions of people? What they just did is that they're empowering not federal, not state, but all the way down to the local level. Meaning a local police officer and a local court can now offer somebody up for deportation. That's running a government. That's how you get it done. And I think that's what's going to happen in California. I know they put together that $50 million thing to fight Trump. Well, that ain't going to happen. That money, we're going to talk about it tomorrow. I guarantee you that money gets taken. You want $50 million to take on Trump, but you can't handle this? You can't handle the fire department? That is like the definition of being a bad steward. Now, this last clip is just a funny clip. Just funny. It's from The View. And I think you guys need to get on your phones and your keyboards and let this woman know what she needs to do. She went on television, she said something, and now you got to pay up.
Number one.
Single thing, a 5-alarm fire. Yeah. If he does good, if he gets the Israeli hostages out, I promise I will wear a MAGA hat for one day on the show and say, thank you for doing it. Yeah. I know she'll knock it right off my head. But you have to be able to cheer for wins when they happen and then call out relentlessly the wrongdoing.
Well, put it on. Put the damn hat on. All right, Alyssa Farah. Go ahead and tweet at her, X at her, whatever you want to do that. So before I go into the Nancy video, I've got something I want to show you. Where is it? I want you to take a deep breath, and I want you to basically understand just where this is going. Wait a minute. Trump has posted again. Let me go to this first. I didn't expect that he would have been posting, but I guess he's watching Biden talk, so he's got something to say. New post. As of today, the incoming Trump administration has hired over 1,000 people for the United States government. They are outstanding in every way, and you will see the fruits of their labor over the coming years. We will make America great again, and it will happen very quickly in order to save time, money, and effort. It would be helpful if you would not send or recommend to us people who worked with or are endorsed by Americans for no prosperity, headed by Charles Koch, dumb as a rock John Bolton, bird brain Nikki Haley, Mike Pence, disloyal warmongers Dick Cheney and his psycho daughter Liz, Mitt Romney, Paul Ryan, General Mark Milley, James Mattis, Mark Yesper, or any of the other people currently suffering from Trump derangement syndrome. Thank you for your attention to this matter. By boss is pissed, and he's really pissed. But this is probably going to piss you off even more. Woosah, woosah, okay? Biden's Department of Justice, i.e. Merrick Garland, will not release the list of people who Jeffrey, you-know-who, can't say, did with those girls. Now, in addition to that, Biden's IRS is refunding $112 million to his estate and refuses to release the names of the beneficiaries. As much as $145 million, instead of going to the victims, will go to people the Biden administration is protecting. Hopefully Pam Bondi and who's this? Pam Bondi and Congressman Billy Long will release the names. 5 days before he leaves, he's giving back to some unnamed beneficiaries up to $145 million of seized money. Why? See, all this is going to come together. We started mentioning that thing that Dick Durbin asked about. Right? Right. You heard us talking about that. And then we find out that this is happening. $145 million is going to unknown beneficiaries instead of to the victims. Why are the victims getting stiffed? Why are you moving this money at the 12th hour? There is something really, really bad happening. In addition to what's going to happen after Trump gets inaugurated, pray about what happens as the inauguration is taking place. I just got a really, really bad feeling. They're making moves right now to completely protect people. Something isn't... There's no reason to have moved that money. Why are you moving $145 million, $112 million? Why is the IRS refunding that money? The dude is dead. The beneficiaries are not being revealed. Who's getting that money and why? And you're doing it right before you leave office? That doesn't sound shady to you? Of course it does. Our government is in bed knee-deep with some of these people. I don't like to make stuff up. I don't like to embellish, but I'm telling you, over the next 5 to 10 days, you're going to have to make a decision. You're going to have to decide whether you're going to take that red pill or that blue pill. You're going to take that blue pill and you can go back to sleep, pretend like nothing ever happened, and wake up in Alice in Wonderland and just think, oh, everything's okay. Or you're going to take that red pill if you really want to see how deep that rabbit hole it goes. Because this just happened. Well, actually, it happened this morning. I just happened to see it. So if we're seeing all this stuff beginning to float, Dick Durbin asking the question, Pam Bondi going, yeah, I can't wait till you ask him that. Oh, by the way, where's these hundreds of millions of dollars going? Who's the beneficiaries? Why do it now? Why do it right before you leave office? What's the hurry? Something's not right. Something stinks. Something stinks. Really, really bad. I took the red pill 8 years ago. Yeah, absolutely took my red pill years ago. I love it. Red pill, definitely red pill. Good to hear it. You guys are seeing this and wondering, something's crazy here. Why would you give this money? Why would they give this money? Whoever digs a pit will fall into it themselves. I hope they find out where the money has gone. Yeah, it's going to be gone, though, either way. Who's getting this money? Biden paying off hush money? Maybe. maybe. Barry, I'm taking the red pill. The truth sets us free. Lots of what we will learn is painful. Nancy is saying that she heard that Biden told his staff to get out of D.C. Christine says, I've been waiting for everyone to get red-pilled. So it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. So those of you who have seen the interview with Nancy Mace, now would be the time for you to, let's see, what's it up to? 56% of almost 4,000 people have not seen this interview. So 40% of you guys have. So if you don't want to stick around for the interview, let me go ahead right now and do a pre-closing. If you'd like to join our free X group, free private group on X, go to fanfareshop.org/group. And then if you'd like to win a hoodie, go ahead over to fanfareshop.org to register to win a hoodie. What I'll do right now, since I'm going to play the Nancy Mace video, let me go ahead and give away 3 hoodies now. So those of you who don't want to, who have already seen the Nancy Mace video, you don't have to stick around if you don't want to. By the way, it's about a 25-minute video. I mean, a 25-minute interview. And some of what she says kind of ties in to what we just talked about tonight. So it's going to be very interesting for some of you guys. All right, so let's go ahead and give away hoodies. And let me go to the drum roll. Where's the drum roll? Okay, here we go. And the first winner is Helen Moore. Helen Moore, you've won a free hoodie. Next person, and drum roll, please. Nancy Perez. 2 ladies again. Ladies keep winning. And one more for tonight. And let me do the drum roll. Daryl Johansson. So we actually had a guy win. Congratulations. Ashley will be contacting you to get your mailing address and your size. And then once she has that, she'll coordinate getting the hoodie to you. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed that interview with Nancy Mace. She was phenomenal. Loved it. It is what it is at this point, and she's fighting a good fight. That's absolutely for sure. All right, let me go ahead and acknowledge some super chats here. Michael Nace, according to the American Psychiatric Institute, confusion is a mental illness which disqualifies them from military duty. Very interesting. Captain Danny Barrow, the $145 million is going to 3-letter agency heads that have been running cover for the Speedo wearers. Interesting prospect there. Tommy, thanks, Barry. Soon the 17th letter will be fun again. Yeah. I understand our link wasn't working. I'm going to have to contact our web host. We're getting close to that third rail and touching it, so people are trying to come at us from all different ways. So we'll get it fixed. Genesis, thank you. Brian Newland, I'm disappointed. I was going to have a deportation party now that in my neighborhood are already gone. Ooh, wow, that works. Ryan says, maybe Mr. E didn't unalive himself in jail. Wow, that would be interesting. Give me my money. Linda H, taxes, mind-blowing. Yeah, it is. Think about that. Linda Mike Stone, try for keeping us overnight. Thank you for keeping us overnight. Okay, yes, thank you. Claire Butterfield, thank you. Blumenthal would not like me. He's a puppet of Adam Schiff. Oh yeah, they are. They can't wait to the Kash Patel interview. That's going to be crazy. Thank you from Sharon. Thank you very much. Sandra J.G. Thompson. I firmly believe Joe Biden sold us to China with the agreement they would pay him richly and he would look the other way. I think we're going to find out some stuff we probably don't want to find out. That is for sure. Stacy Koob, Buddy Carter, 74. You have 4 Buddy Carter, please. SSDI recipients don't pay taxes. We are minimum wage as is. Increased pay, please. 23% consumption hurts us. When he gets on, we'll have him explain that. Mark of reality, first thing, just make the lowest tax bracket start at $100,000 and above. What are they going to complain about then? Yeah, good point. The lowest tax bracket should start at $100,000, Mark of reality says. Mark again says one of the reasons they want to tax the middle class is to keep you poor. If you make too much money, you could eventually become competition to the upper class, and you become self-sufficient, which is like the antithesis of what the Democrat Party want. They do not want self-sufficient people. Let's see here. What's it got? Next one, next page. James TLB, so glad I randomly across this channel. God bless you, Barry, and every single one of you here much. Thank you very, very much. And let's see here. Southern Ninja, thanks for the Nancy Mace interview. Thank you for watching. She's been going through a lot, and it's definitely intentional. Cutting edge, just look at the cryptocurrencies. They're exploding in price, all just after Trump got elected. Yep, absolutely. CR, send the California fire crew stuff back from Ukraine. Yeah, that would be something. Larry 1754, I want Pam, well, I mean, I want her as AG. I hear you, bro. I hear what you're saying. All right, so thank you guys for, okay, wait a minute. We have Linda H. Thank you. And Penny Quarter. I respect Nancy Mace, supported her election. I can relate to her experiences as well. Sorry about that. Great interview. And D-Lad, you don't have to enter again if you've already entered, so you don't have to worry about that at all. And thank you, Scott Voigt, I believe is how you pronounce it. All right, guys. Thank you very much. 2 hours tonight, 6 hours earlier, 8 hours. 8 hours we went today. Love it. Thank you very much. Tomorrow, no hearings. So we'll just have our regular schedule at 3 and 7:30. So we'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great evening.
Thank you.